right, you ready?
Yes.
Here we go.
Let's go.
What's happening, everyone? I want to welcome you to Inside the Hammer, episode number 2. We have Jenn, a.k.a. Jenn A, with us today, and we're so excited. This is what everyone said when you came on the podcast, right here. It was just crowds cheering.
Okay, that's enough, guys. Okay.
Sorry, we're still getting used to the Roadcaster. Super excited you're here. You've been with us for how long?
9 months. We're
9
going
months.
on 10
Okay,
in October.
very cool. So
almost.
We're getting,
I've been here since the beginning of Dolphin's tour.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we're going on close. Yeah, it'll be a year at Christmas time.
Yes.
Okay, get a hair closer to the mic so I can try that.
Let's see. We good?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's better. We're still learning the technicalities of how to do a podcast, and we have no clue what we're doing. Okay, so on Inside the Hammer, I want to bring you guys into our culture. I want to interview people that have been here for years and people that have been here for months. And, I just want to ask questions and really kind of expose what goes on behind the scenes, because I want you guys to see just kind of how we do business, what we do, the conversations we have. It may be healthy. It may not be healthy. We're not really sure at this point. How many nitros have you had?
So, going on 3. This is a third. I've refilled it a few times. My goal is I'll do halfway and then I'll refill it because I'm like, well, that was only 1.
I'm horrified right now.
And then it ends up being 7.
Oh my gosh.
And then horrified. A Red Bull.
So she's fine.
We're good.
She's got plenty of energy. We're good to go. Okay, so I want to just kick this off. Tell us about you. Just tell us who you are, how'd you get here, and keep cliff notes,
So I was working at, not my personality. I was working at a hospital. I worked at Fusakli's, and then I was starting my first day at a hospital, and Mo called me, and I remember calling Mo, and I was like, she never answered. I'm like, you know what? This is a scam. I'm not doing it.
Us never answer our phone? No,
yes. No,
that doesn't happen.
Yes. I literally will scroll back to my call log. But this was when y'all were on the trailer every day.
Yeah. Nothing has changed
TBT.
as far as us not answering. Nothing has changed.
Oh, no kidding. So I was hating just everything. If you know me, you know.
I swear to you, this is the first time I knew you worked at a hospital.
It was one day.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
I had no idea. Mo's looking at me you don't know this? I'm like,
I told everybody the other day because Virginia's, one of her roommates does it. So she was like, yeah, she hates it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I did that for a day. And then I got a call from Mo and just risked it all and quit. So, yeah, not my thing. If you know me at all, that's not my thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Which leads into a bunch of other reasons why I made
But tell us a little bit more about you. So you got the call, you came in, interviewed.
I thought, I was coming in for an interview, and I thought I was going to sit at a little round table, and we were going to, here's my little printed resume. We're going to go over this. Y'all are going to ask me. Was
I the one that threw away your resume?
No, I didn't.
That didn't happen?
Okay, first of all.
Somebody handed me the resume, and I was like, thank you so much. And I threw it in the garbage can, and they literally teared up.
I can't
remember who that was.
I don't know, but
it was really funny.
That's hilarious. So I was like, first of all, why am I submitting a YouTube video to work at a coffee place?
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? Whatever. I was the crackhead in high school, middle school, always had my coffee. I was like, I thought when I got this job, it was just going to be coffee.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
It still is.
And we'll get into that, and I want to dive into that in a minute. So that's a little bit about you. That's a little bit of your background. Worked at FU, worked at a hospital for a day, came to our culture, came to Yellowhammer, got hired, that whole thing. Here's my second question to you. What has surprised you the most about being, because like you just said, I just thought it was going to be all about the coffee.
Yeah.
What are some shocking things that you can tell people of being here?
So the other day, we actually had someone come through, one of our regulars, and tell us, personal stuff about, her marriage, about whatever, about her kids, about getting a divorce. And I was like, okay. So I was taken back for a second. And it was almost like, I made this comment and I was like, I thought I was just their barista. Yeah. And I was so wrong.
It's crazy.
And just as much as we're there for people's bad days, we actually had the other day also, we were at the Dolphin store and somebody came through and told us it was their 30th birthday. I've never seen their face before, but we're just welcoming.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing,
we celebrated them, and we have the Sonos speakers, so we cranked them up, and that was that. We played Happy Birthday. We danced for her. She cried. It was it was so much fun.
That's unbelievable. And it's funny because I try to be a culture in a company that does what we say we're going to do.
Yeah.
So you know how we have that massive write-up? If at Dolphin Street, there's this big write-up that's hey, this is our mission statement, amazing coffee, unmatched customer service. If you've had a bad day, we want to blah, 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 whatever that is. I don't even know what it is now. But everything you just told me is literally written on that wall.
Oh, no kidding.
Like, if you have the worst day ever, we're gonna help you, and like we're gonna mourn with you. And if you're celebrating the best day of your life, like we're gonna party with you. You know, that's just what we're. So it's funny because I keep harping on this, but like I feel like we actually do what we say. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. And I said this in the last podcast. Go read some other mission statements. Like, Google the mission statement for Dunder Mifflin.
No, when
from
we
the office.
Had,
have you read this?
When we had the meeting.
Keep going.
Okay.
Somebody pull me Dunder Mifflin's mission statement.
How long ago do you think it was that we had that meeting? And you pulled up a bunch of. We played like a game at the meeting, and it was guess like the mission statement, match it with whatever.
Guess the company. I'll read the mission statement.
A joke.
Guess the company.
It was such a joke. So they were like.
That was a fun time.
I can't even think of them. Like, but they were like mission statements for McDonald's.
It's a paragraph.
Never.
And it's like, we're here to be a global blah, blah, blah,
and none of it says anything about the ice cream machine being broken. Yeah. So.
Did somebody get me Dunder Mifflin's? This is Mo off camera, by the way. Look, this is what we'll do. This is what we'll do while we're waiting for Mo to get the mission statement. Oh, wait, wrong one. Sorry.
We should play the Jeopardy music.
I really apologize. Oh man, I wish I had that. That'd be amazing. I just got a flash flood on my thing. Y'all, it's been pouring down nonstop today, so it's been crazy. But I love what you're saying. So you're saying, I thought I was going to show up, make a product, hand it out a window, and that was going to be it.
The first day, I was in the wrong. Like I showed up thinking, like I said, I was going to sit at a table. Y'all were going to ask me like whatever, like elevator talk. Just ask me stupid questions. I come in and I'm working. Y'all aren't there. Like I'm there with a few of the people that are still here, and I'm topping drinks and I'm handing them out, and it's like real hands-on. Like,
right.
I was doing the job on the first day, and that's how you know if you're a fit. And
it's literally that's what we look for. Like we don't care about resume. I don't care about what you've done in the past. Literally, I care about do you have empathy? Do you have self-awareness? Can you bring your A game to people even if you don't feel like it? Can you just be aware of your situations? Can you be aware of your team?
Yes.
Can you be aware of what's going on? Like those are the things we look for. So resumes are useless to me. I'm like, let me watch you for 30 minutes and I'll tell you your resume. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
and now I've gotten to the point, like whenever we do that, I can tell, like when somebody walks
when
in,
we're
like
interviewing?
how they walk
in.
Totally.
I'm like, yeah.
So no, go ahead and leave.
Yeah. You know what? Don't even waste. You're fine. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
Like don't even. That's so funny.
No, but the people that come in and they're wiping counters and they're handing out drinks and they're topping them and they're trying.
Yep.
They're a fit and they're still with us.
So we've got what has surprised you the most. All of that has kind of been surprising to you. I think the closeness to our customers has been very surprising to you. What would you say one of your biggest challenges have been inside of our company?
So I remember, and this was like probably when I first started, like the customer interaction, not a problem for me. Customer service, not a problem for me. Like just being able to talk to people.
And that's just your personality.
And have the conversations, like I could do it. But when it came down to people taking me seriously, I was like, and that's still, but now it's like, it's still a problem, but I just don't care anymore.
Right.
If you take me seriously, awesome. If you don't, like, oh well. Which I don't blame them. Like I don't look like somebody who.
Right, because Jenn is very much like, whatever, guys.
All the time. But then, like, in the situation that I need to be, and that's when people get surprised. I'm like,
you're a beast. Including me. It shocks me. I'm like, dude, you just locked into such a level of intensity. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is insane.
And I love it because, like, people, I'm like a walking enigma. Nobody ever knows.
What to expect. Right. But it's cool. So, but you felt like that's been a challenge for you. So I asked the question about a challenge, and you feel like that's been challenging to you because it's really other people's perception of you and who you are.
Yeah.
So you feel like they don't see that side of you that can really lock in and get the details right. Yeah. I mean, I was so impressed the other day. Like, we were so busy, you guys. I mean, we're like, the line is a mile long, and we're cranking drinks just left and right. I'm serving a drink out the window, and I made a mistake. I didn't lace the chocolate. It was a beach bomb, and I forgot to lace it. Jenn's constantly taking orders. She sees it go out the window, knows I made it intuitively, and she's like, oh, my gosh, yeah, okay, well, your change is going to be $5.40, whatever. Looks at me real quick and goes like, hey, you forgot the chocolate lace on that. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, we'll have that right out. I mean, it was like she didn't skip a beat. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, it was amazing. You know, like the awareness you had of that situation was unbelievable, you know? And so I think part of it's personality based. Part of it's a maturity thing. I think it's something you grow in. It's something I grow in.
Yeah.
It's something, no one takes me seriously, and I run the thing. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, Jeff, you know?
Yeah.
But part of it is it's like a maturity thing, and it's like I don't know. You just get there with time. You get there with experience.
For sure.
You get there with, how old are you?
19.
So you're 19. You're 19 years old.
Yeah.
You won't have the conversation, I don't think, when you're 25. When you're 25, you'll be like, people take me seriously.
Oh, for
You know
sure.
what I mean? So it's just, part of it is just, I think it's a phase that where you're at in life, you know? Okay. Here's another question for you. What's the hardest conversation you've had in the company? Like either with me or with our team, or like, what's some hard conversations that we've had?
So there was this one run we did, and it was like not too long ago, probably a couple months ago, and I was just frustrated. Like we had a conversation. It was you and Mo, and we were on the way home from Loosedale, and I just let all of it go because I felt like you kind of pounded into me on the way there. Like it was a quiet ride, and then you started pounding into me, and I got into the trailer, and I was like, we're going to get through this shift. And the way home, I was like, I'm tired.
I think I remember this. I think I said something like, because you were like, hey, I want to start doing social media or whatever.
Yes.
And what did I say? I said, if you read Jab Jab, I said, if you're serious, you'll read Jab Jab.
Yes.
And you'll text me in 2 weeks, and we'll hang.
Yeah.
And if you're not serious, I won't hear anything from you, and I'll know you're not serious. Did you read Jab Jab?
No.
Oh, how long ago was this? Hey, guess what?
Hit all the buttons.
Inside the Hammer is, you know what, guys? We're going to a commercial break. We're going to be right back. This is Inside the Hammer is where, actually, I tricked you. It's where I hammer you on camera. So I'm like, I gotcha. But that was a conversation.
No, it is.
You know, and I'm like, hey,
sure.
I'm like, get serious, buckle down, and let's hang, or don't get serious, and it's fine. Either way is fine. I love this.
So
do you feel awkward right now?
No. Yes. Go ahead and get the book from Sydney.
So tough
and then
conversation.
We'll talk in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So she still has it.
That's your job. That's not my job.
So I'm gonna go steal it from their house, and I'll be over tonight
when
I'm done reading it. So we had this super tough conversation.
I remember that. I remember that moment. Tell us about the drive back when we were just talking and hanging.
So the drive back, I got into the car and I was like, you know what? Closed mouths don't get fed.
Right.
And to my surprise, neither one of you guys noticed that, or not noticed, but didn't know that like I was frustrated about what I was frustrated about.
Sure, yeah.
So I was like,
I mean, I knew. I'm pretty intuitive with
and
emotions.
And then I said it.
Sure, yeah.
And then it was just like, and then ever since then, like, so I was just like about wanting to be like shift lead. Like I wanted to be able to be that person to some people, like to the people that we work with.
Right.
So I was so frustrated. I was like, so what is it? Is it me? Is it something I've done? And at the time, like, I was kind of going through, it was just a little bit of a weird, like, time, like a weird season.
Yeah.
So I was, like, late, and I'm taking
out of
my trust bank. And then I'm dating someone in the company, taking out of my trust bank.
There was a couple things back to back. I love that the reason I love that you're sharing this is because we have a lot of business owners that are watching, and even a lot of companies and a lot of HR people and a lot of people that are hiring. I mean, this is just a life. This is just welcome to business, you know, welcome to just people. Bradley just fell. I thought you went through the wall. You're good, Brad.
Look how he pulled it off.
But we have a lot of people that are watching that, like, they deal with this stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And this is just people, you know.
But nobody speaks out on it.
No one talks about it. And so that was a little rough. You know, you were an hour late one time, and then it's like
I get this call.
There was a couple of just boom, 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 and you're like, you were so fed up.
No, I wasn't late one time. I was late twice.
Multiple, yes.
So I get this call. The first time it's just a breeze. It's just let's laugh it off. I wake up. Jeff's calling me. Jeff's called me 3 times, and I'm like, how fast?
Man.
Do you think
I remember this.
Sometimes I think about like
SSI.
if I am late.
Is it
something,
SSI?
Yes, something we don't play about us being late. So I'm like, if I'm ever late, I'm just gonna wreck my car.
Yeah, just go.
And I'm just gonna wreck my car because you know what? There's no use for me anymore. So
I'm gonna wreck my car because that's easier than having the conversation.
Yeah, because like that'll be a good excuse.
That's
and then
terrible.
I'm late again to I think it was like a shifted dolphin. Oh yeah.
This was when I called you the first time. This was literally what I heard. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with the sound pads. All right, keep going.
Okay, so yeah, the first time we just laughed it off, and it's like, this is so not like you, blah, blah, blah. Probably 2 weeks later, would you say?
Yeah. 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. I was late to a shift at Dolphin, which is a little bit more stressful.
Yeah.
A little bit more stressful.
Sure.
So I was like super apologetic because I knew this time, like, I was going to get that conversation that everybody in the company's had that, like, you dread.
Right.
So I had Actually, I did not have the conversation. I went ahead and I went to Sam and I was like, you know what? I was late. Go ahead, somebody scream at me. And I'm looking for anybody to scream at me. I wouldn't accept tips. I wouldn't do anything that day. I was like, I'm the worst. Everybody beat me. Like, just hit me. And nobody would. And
you know what? Sam acted that way, but what you don't know is he texted Calamine, and Calamine was out by the dumpster.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't get shot somehow.
I'm sorry, you guys. It's an inside joke. Sam was in a play. You should go see it. And if they bring it back, everyone's going to see it. It's amazing.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry. Inside joke.
So, I just expected for everybody, but that says a lot about our culture. So I'll hit that in a minute.
And we do have tough conversations, but it's not like.
But that's how we keep a good culture. People think it's you remain like ignorance is bliss, like you're oblivious, and that's how you have a good culture. And it's the complete opposite. You acknowledge everything and you talk about everything and you have those conversations. And that's how we are where we are. That's how 3 years in we're still like this.
It's a good soundbite right there. Take that clip right there. We're going to punch that. That's
Let's
amazing.
loop it for an hour.
Literally, for
like,
just the whole podcast.
This is finally, my singing career is going to take off. We're going to loop that, but I'm going to sing it.
That's hilarious.
So where were we?
Yes, so you had a conversation with Sam.
Yeah, and just nobody was getting upset with me. And it was just like the most civil conversation. Hey, it can't happen again.
Yeah.
And this was, 2 months ago?
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't think I was going to hear anything. And the next day, we actually had like our girls' day where all the girls at work, like we had girls and guys night. So I'm actually at brunch with...
Which sounds really lame. No. But like, we do it right. We
definitely
girls go
did it
Taco
right.
Mama, boys went to Nexus and watched a guy's movie.
We had
it was pretty
such
fun.
a good time.
Yeah.
So I'm waking up that morning. I'm off. We're going to plan. So I'm with like the managers and Grayson and everybody else. And we're just like hanging at brunch. And then I get a call from you. And I was like, there's no way.
Oh, no.
I thought I escaped this. Like I thought I was better than this, whatever. So I get the call and you're like, you know what? I'll call you back when you're not at brunch. I'm like, oh, so he wants to talk to me alone. So basically like.
I'm dead.
Yeah. If we could get in a wreck on the way home, yes, please. If that's an option, like I just want to get in a wreck.
That's hilarious.
So we get in the car. I like get in with Anna and Austin, and I put my hands beside my side, and I'm just crying until we get back to Sam and Sydney's house. I'm like planning. Hilarious. How am I going to run myself over? Like, right. How many times I'm going to throw up? Like,
That's
I
hilarious.
was awful. It was the worst thing ever. That car ride felt like 4 hours.
Terrible.
So we get there and we have this conversation and you're like, you answer the phone and if you don't call me Jenny,
I'm you're like
dead.
in trouble.
But I answer the phone and that's what I get. And I'm like, there's no way. Like somebody should be hitting me. Like
one time I forgot to say that. Me. I had a lot on my brain and we had a run and Jen showed up. I was like, hey, what's up? Good morning. You know, and like nothing was wrong. I was literally just had 50 other thousand things I was thinking about. And for the whole run, she was like, he's mad at me. He's like, I did something, and he's going to talk to me after. And I remember you saying that. You're like, you didn't call me Jenny. And I was like, I just didn't think about it. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
No, I was distraught that run. I'm like, so I wonder how he's going to fire me at the end. Oh, man,
this is bad. Okay.
I wonder if we're going to go to Chipotle and he's going to fire me.
You have the awkward car ride. You call me. I don't even remember the conversation. It was good?
Yeah. So we had this conversation, and you're like, I'm trying to remember how exactly you phrased it. You were telling me to feed into the people around me, to feed in to whatever. And I went through like this evaluation and I said this on the way home from Loosedale about, I was like, is it me? Am I the reason why I'm not shift lead? Is it something I did? Is it this? Is it that? And then I evaluated like the situation around me and there was no reason.
Right.
So
other than just time.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. So we're very patient as a company. And 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds and 16-year-olds generally aren't very patient.
No, I'm like the most impatient person you'll ever meet.
So that's kind of the struggle.
It was the best thing because probably I think Loosedale was 2 weeks after I so happened to be like, you know what, I had just taken a step back, not necessarily in a bad way. That's like never a bad thing.
Right.
So I took a step back and I was still working just as hard as I was, just doing everything. Just that wasn't always like my main concern was shift lead. Like
we're right.
So I go by Dolphin and then you guys tell me that I am and I'm like, you know what? Everything works out. Like it does. It was so reassuring.
It does. And not everyone is meant to be a shift lead. And not everyone is meant to be a manager. And not everyone's meant to be a barista at Yellowhammer. Like it's just not. You know, it's just a very specific thing. So one thing we do is we take our time. Some people get really frustrated with that and they leave. And that's okay. I'm like, man, I pat them on the back and I'm like, man, I will help you do whatever you want to do.
Which is,
and some people lock in and they say, okay, it's slow and it's steady. Because I think slow and steady wins a race. I don't think a flash in the pan wins the race, you know? And so that's just kind of our thing. And like, we take
like,
time, you know?
Also a thing that like really surprised me was, and I've seen like, I don't even want to use the term let people go.
Right, yeah.
I can't think of what's a good term for it.
People kind of let themselves go.
Yeah, for sure.
You think?
For sure.
It's just
I didn't understand that at the beginning.
Yeah.
But there was one significant person who was not meant for us. And that it's so much easier to just keep them there. Like, it's another person to just do the job. Sure. But you cared so much more for them. For sure. And now they've moved to a whole nother state and they're doing the best that they can.
Absolutely. And that's really good. We always try to do the best for the team member, not the best for the company. And I tell people that. Like, if I wanted to be selfish and do the best for the company,
you just keep
this lightning and thunder, I still can't believe it's raining this hard. This is crazy. But if I wanted to do the best for the company, I would just be selfish and be like, no, you need to stay here and you need to do this, or here's more money, or here's more this, or here's more that. But I'm like, no, like, you need to do what's in your heart. Because if this isn't in your heart, it's ultimately not going to be healthy for the company. So it's a weird play, but I think we get there. Okay, so you're 19 years old. Here's what I want to know from you, and I think our listeners want to know this from you.
Okay.
Like, you're 19 years old, observing a business startup that's now in year 3.
Yes.
Like, what is the dumbest, like, what is something just idiotic that we're doing right now? Like, what's something stupid that we should change now that we're doing? Like, what are we doing that's just dumb?
You know?
You can't be like, it's perfect here. Yellowhammer,
it's definitely not perfect, but nothing sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, for instance, like, really? I would say probably ask me this 3 months ago, and it would have been that y'all work shifts with us all the time.
Really?
You drive the trailer. Like, that was insanity.
You would see that as it is.
Yeah. Now that y'all have been able to have it, like, take a step back, just smaller things have, like, fallen in. We're having this podcast right now.
Right, you're right.
Like, we're doing this.
And the trailer has been driven twice today.
Yeah. It's just things that are getting done.
If Kenneth quits, we're back in the trailer.
Cancel the podcast. I hope y'all enjoyed this last episode.
Yeah, keep going.
This will never happen again.
Keep going, Kenneth. It's you're doing great, buddy. But it is true.
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you. He's coming on the podcast here soon. He texted me and told me he wants to come on it, so it'll be a good time. But yeah, you're right. Like, so we constantly want to give responsibility. We constantly want to hand off. It's finding the right person, making sure they have the patience and the talent and the ability to take it on. And Kenneth did. And enrolling there. So now I'm training another driver too. Because I think it's just having multiples is just smart. You know what I mean? Because part of it is, if Kenneth knows he's the only driver, I'm just using him as an example because this is, he's the only trailer driver we have. Yeah. But if he knows he's the only driver but wants to do something else, he might stay here because he's like, I don't want to put them in a bad spot. You know? And that's bad on him. That's bad on me. And so I want to give people the freedom and the flexibility to do what they feel like they should do and need to do. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I think it keeps us healthy. You know what I mean? That way he's like, oh man, he's got two other people. We know
everyone, and it starts with like the application process. Like we know everyone who is here wants to be here because, if you're kind of on the fence about it, like you're not going to submit the YouTube video because that's like a little bit of extra work.
Absolutely,
but
which is why we do it.
Can you imagine how many people, or how many people it just
80% of people don't do a video,
and guess what?
And we delete them. We just delete the apps. We don't even look at them. We just go click because if you can't go that step, then we're not going to.
You'll never make it.
Yeah, we're not going to go to the step to even bring you in and talk to you. Okay, so you think the dumbest thing we've been doing was not handing off more responsibilities. We're getting better
to
as
a certain
business.
extent.
Sure. No, I totally.
There are certain things that
No, but someone's going to be doing my job one day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I asked Ryan the other day, I was like, what do you want to do? Like, where do you want to go in this? And he was like, I want your job. I was like, thank God. I was like, literally, I've been waiting on someone to say this. This is amazing.
No, I don't have to shoot myself in the head.
But we'll constantly running around.
No, I'm going to go through the breakdown, Brittany.
But we'll continue. Yeah,
I wore this shirt for Lance. So Lance, if you're watching, this one's definitely for you.
He will. You know what? I'll tell him that we're giving him a shout out. He's going to watch the whole thing. And so, the dumbest thing you think we've done is not handing stuff off, which I hope we're getting better at. It's a really good observation.
There are still a few things that could be handed off so that y'all can be in
like when we were in DC, we were both on the phone every single day.
Yeah, like that shouldn't
every
have been.
Day. Yeah, every day.
If we could have done it, like we could.
I know, but it's stuff like pay. It's just back end stuff,
like
payroll and like
that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Scheduling and like. But we'll get there. Like in 6 months from now, we may have someone doing that and doing scheduling. Like I'm hoping.
And I don't doubt it, but that's a patience thing again.
It is a patience thing. Yeah, you're right. No, man, this is good stuff. Okay, so you're 19. What is some advice you would give someone your age? It doesn't have to be coffee related or business related. Like, just what is some life advice you would give someone from a 19-year-old perspective?
Yeah. So this one's like super, like just spot on for where I'm at, like this time in my life. So I made the decision to drop out of college, and no, I'm not going to use like another word that sounds better. I'm straight up going to say drop out of college.
This is every parent's response right here. Either that or this. Nope, not that one. That is most everybody's response.
Yes. So I did take a gap year.
Okay.
So I graduated in 18, and I took a gap year, and then that's how I found myself here.
Yep.
So, like, we have, like, an awesome mix of people who are in school to be doctors,
Sure.
and then we have the people who went to school for 4 years and just decided it wasn't for them. Sure. And I went into it with an open mindset. But my main reason for going to school was that so I couldn't regret it.
Correct.
I don't want to be 40 years old and say, and I thought school wasn't for me, and which I was right.
Yep.
I'm always right.
Yep. I get it.
I thought it wasn't for me, but I tried it. And I would tell anybody, like, if it is in your cards to try it, to start the business.
And we had this conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember that. You were like,
do whatever.
Yep.
Just try it so you don't live with the regret.
Yep.
And then, like, now I know I made the decision for myself because I know that was what was for me.
Yep.
Totally. And it's like the most liberating thing ever.
For sure. Yeah. But you won't go to bed at night thinking, man, what if college was a good thing? Or what if this could have been great? Because we had this conversation. I remember this.
For sure.
I was like,
yeah,
Jen,
yeah.
like, you have to give it a shot, especially if you have the opportunity. Mm-hmm. You have to give it a shot because you have to. It's the same thing when we did the business. Like, we had to give it a shot because we just had to know if this could work or not. And if it didn't work, that was just as okay as if it did work.
100%.
But you and I both know, and I preach this to constantly, is a business or a degree at all doesn't mean anything. And I can say this. I have a business degree. I have a certified degree in entrepreneurship. Believe it or not, it's a harder business degree to get from the University of South Alabama. And but it doesn't mean anything, you know. So real life is what means everything, you know. And so unless if you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a surgeon, you're going to be something that requires you have to have a degree and you have to go to college. Disregard everything I've just said.
For sure.
But if you don't know what you want to do in life and you're just like, I don't know, man. I have no passions.
Try it out. Try a few things out. Try
a few things out. But I hate to see people go get sunk with $100,000 of student loans for a history degree. When there's unlimited amounts of opportunity. There's unlimited amounts of things that you could do. I mean, if you love history, go start learning from some really great historians. Start a history YouTube channel and then crush it. Like, that opportunity didn't exist 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I had the decision to just tough it out. And I was like, I can stay here and I can graduate, and then I can see if that's what I want to do. Sure. Go to school for 6 years, waste 6 years of my life to see if that's what I want to do.
Right.
When I know, like, what I'm doing right now, whether it's that I'm at Yellowhammer forever, let's talk about how few people like their job.
That's going to hit right there. Please don't blow up the podcaster. This would be it.
First, last, and best.
Dude, if it blew up our sound card, I would cry.
No, I honest to God hope it would travel through my headphones and electrocute me to death, and y'all could watch it. I don't know.
Good content. But man, back on this college thing, like, college is definitely for some people, and I don't want to downplay it. But college is definitely not for some people, and I don't want to upplay it, right? Yeah. So I don't want to be like college.
A lot of it is a society thing.
It is, yeah,
for sure. Like, society tells you should go. It's some type of validation that, like, and that's awesome. Like, some people it is so for. I've met multiple people that it's so for. Sure. And then. But what was so surprising to me, and this has a lot to do with our team members. Yeah. I made this decision it's like fresh, like 2 days.
Yeah. No, this is like hot off the press. That's why I texted Jenn. I was like, we need to do a podcast like now.
Yeah.
Like,
just
this is
because
hot off the press.
I don't think I could have made the decision 6 months ago if I were in school. Yeah. I have such a good support system around me, and this is like our team members. This is everybody around me. Yeah. So I made the decision, and everybody that I told, I expected to just. Them to just be so disappointed in me. Like, it's what I expected. And all I got, high fives. Like, Mo called me, congratulated me, because it's not for me. My personality's not meant to be in an office for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I get it.
Like,
neither is mine. I just can't do it. I'm just like,
no, like, but people weren't made to sit and look at a computer from 9 to 5.
Yeah,
they weren't. Like,
for sure. Yeah.
So That was super surprising to me to see that like our team members.
But people were made to sit and make coffee all day.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I feel like
no,
I
it was just
you.
no. I was kind of concluding it. It was just how surprised I was by my
cool.
support system, who's here, like Yellowhammer.
For sure, yeah.
With like our, that's our culture.
Yeah,
even behind
really
the scenes,
is.
when it has nothing to do with work, it was me choosing not to go to college and knowing that people around me, like, I felt the most immense amount of support that I've ever felt in my life.
That's
like even I told my parents, and they were. So, like, they knew it was, everybody was like, oh, I knew. Like, you gave me, 2 months?
Yeah, no, I called it almost to the day.
Almost to the
day. I'm pretty good, dude. I'm pretty good calling it.
Yeah. It's your...
Can we talk about my one famous quote with you?
Yes, what is it?
Jenn was in a relationship, and I was like, hey, how's it going? You know, because we talk personal, and I'm trying to get better not to talk. Sometimes I talk too personal, and I scare people. Because
like,
there
are
really
no
see
boundaries
through.
with me. Like,
I know, yeah.
At all.
And I'm the same way, but it can't be like... HR, and we're trying to get more professional and all that stuff. But I remember I was like, hey, how's your relationship going? I guess we can share this, right?
Oh, yeah.
If
I
we
don't
can't,
care.
we'll delete it out.
No,
and so
cool.
Jenn was...
I cannot wait for my boyfriend to edit this podcast.
Jenn was telling me about her relationship. She's like, blah, 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 you know. And I was like, oh, that's great. And I was like, here's the quote. You ready for the famous quote? I said, are you trying to convince me, or are you trying to convince you that this is a great thing? And you literally went silent. And I was halfway joking. I was literally just messing. Jenn goes silent and then thinks about it for how long did you think about that quote? For forever?
I got in my car after that run and I was literally taken back. I was like, there's no way. That quote alone, literally, I was like, I'm running. How fast do you think I can run out of this relationship?
I just said it off of a whim. I mean, I was just like I'm just being dumb me, you know, and like just messing around. And it literally impacted you.
And then I ran.
Yeah. So anyway, we don't have to tell the rest of it, but it was really interesting. But I think it was a moment of clarity for you.
It was.
Because I say that, but I'm being a little facetious. Like part of me jokes a lot, but part of me there's a lot of undertones to it too.
Yeah.
But anyway, change your life. Okay. Last question we got. This is it. Okay. As I say on a lot of podcasts, startup businesses failure rate. Bradley, what is it? 90% failure rate? 95%? It's a lot. So failure rates are high. Why do you think we are still in business today? Here to put you on the spot.
I have no idea. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I know I said I'm done. I'm for real done this time.
Because there's joy. That's why we're still in business. I think it's just our honesty and our patience to grow. Like we could, and you know this, of course you know this, we could have 50 stores tomorrow, but we choose not to. Like that would be so huge. We could have it.
That's tough.
And it's I bet that's such a hard decision to have.
It's really tough.
To make.
Yeah.
And
it's really, really tough.
We choose not to because we know how fast we can grow.
Sure. Yeah.
And how it'd be healthy. And you chose, so we're doing store 4.
Yep.
Well, location number 4.
Yep.
And it could be location number 54, but it's not because we want to keep the culture. We want to keep just everything the way it is, and I think that's the only reason we haven't failed.
That's interesting.
Because we're just honest. We're honest to the customer. We're honest about everything.
Yeah.
It just
we try to be honest with ourselves.
Yes.
So we're choosing slow organic growth over very fast growth, and both can work.
Oh, for sure.
We could have store number 54, and it could work. It's tough. And I literally go back and forth with it every day.
It's definitely
like,
walking on a tightrope.
I'm just going to do it. Right.
We could we could pull it off. I cannot name one thing that we couldn't pull off.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
How hard would it be?
Insane.
So hard.
It
would be super hard.
Definitely be
but
insane.
Then that gives us like a leeway for our culture to slip
or
this.
Sure, it does.
And that's just not what we're about.
Which is my concern.
Yeah.
And so I'm literally choosing a slower organic model over a faster kind of franchisee model.
After location 10,
yeah,
let's get back to that.
For sure.
And then
yeah.
Maybe we will. We'll sign it and we'll say there are 30 stores. There's that.
I love what you picked up on there, and I don't even think you realize it. You picked up on the fact that we're never fully decided on anything.
Oh, for sure.
We're just not. Like, I'm never like, no way, this will never work. Like what you picked up on there is you said we may change our minds after store number 10. And we might change our minds after store number 4.
When you sent the video out to like inform us on possibly getting a location here or whatever, and you said no for now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And that's definitely the answer.
It's true.
It's no for now.
Yep. That's literally it. That's crazy. So slow organic growth, being honest with ourselves is why you think we're still here for year number 3.
Yes.
That's cool. That's really good. Jenn, thank you so much. I know it's been raining outside. I know it's been crazy. Man, I just want to thank you guys again for joining us for Inside the Hammer, episode number 2. I hope you found it enlightening. I hope you found it entertaining somewhat. I hope you've had fun. I hope you've learned something. Please know this, whatever platform that you're watching this on, whether it's YouTube or whether you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or whatever we put it on, do me a favor, drop us a comment or drop us a question. We will address questions once we get them in. We were going to do some live calls in today. That's something we can look at doing in the future.
Please.
But we definitely want to hear from you. I want to hear some questions. We'd love to cover those. Yeah, we're just here to cover all aspects of our company. Thanks again, Jenn. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Sweet.
That was
How'd you feel?
good.